What's up, guys? What's up? Hopefully, everybody can hear me right now. Hear me good. I'm about to run some numbers on a lease option property that I just got on contract. It's a brand new property from. I have a relationship right now that I built with a property manager. So we partnered on some joint ventures, and he fishes me over some properties. This property I haven't even seen in person yet. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. I'll try to go live again when I'm at the property, so that way we'll run some numbers right now on the computer, and then when we go check the property out in person, sometimes there'll be some surprises that I wasn't aware of that might change the numbers. Otherwise, we're just going to check out the market and see what that looks like. So again, I haven't run numbers on this property. It's going to be from beginning to end. You're just going to kind of just sit here and watch me as I usually normally run numbers on properties. You're going to be able to take a look at it, see it from the inside. All right, so I'm going to share my screen real fast. So first, and right now I'm on Podio. I use Podio for my real estate investing business. That's the customer management system that I choose to use. I really like it. It's customizable. I get to set it up however I want. It keeps track of everything. So right now, this is information about the house. Usually the first thing I'll do is I'll go to public records, which is the tax assessor's office, or if you have access to MLS, then you'll go through to get the tax information from MLS. And it's easy to get MLS access. If you're not a licensed agent to be able to get access to it, then you build a relationship with a licensed agent. And there's some ways to do that. As long as everybody gets a win-win out of it, there's always a way for you to get access to it. If that's what you really want, you can make it happen. Or I can show you how to do it. That's fine. If you don't have MLS access, there's always ways to run numbers on properties. I mean, this day and age, man, there's so many websites and places and tools that you can use to run numbers on properties that you really don't need the MLS to be able to do it. And I can show you how to do it off of MLS if you don't have access to MLS. I actually have a program, a video course is about 3 hours long. If you go to the realestatewealthexchange.com, then it's called the Deal Evaluator Pro. It'll go for about 3 hours on how to run numbers exactly. And, you'll be a pro by the time you're done with it. But you want to learn how to run numbers off the MLS, then there's always ways. But what I'm going to show you, for example, today is mainly off of MLS. And then also, if I need to go off of MLS to get it in more numbers, then I'll go off of MLS and I'll get the additional numbers that I usually need. So, like I said, first thing I'll do is I'll go to the tax records. For this house, this is 225 Glen Rose Circle, Southwest Atlanta. It's vacant right now. I believe so. Yeah, I believe it's vacant right now because I'm about to check it out tomorrow. So obviously it's vacant. I get to see some of the owner's information. I get to see the owner's address and all of that good stuff. All of this is public records that anybody can see. If you don't have access to the MLS, again, you go to the tax assessor's website of the county of where that house is located, and you'll be able to get most of this information. Every county is different. It gives you different information, but most of this information will be available. So I get to see that he's an absentee owner because he lives somewhere different than the property right here with the tax billing address. I see the house is a 3.2, 916 square feet, which a lot of people look for something like 1,000 square feet, at least or more. So that already tells me it's really, really small. As far as the buyer's pool is concerned, built in 1955, so it's an older house. Pretty good size lot. The last time it was bought was $23,000 in 2013. So all of that information, I like to just get a roundabout about the property. A lot of it we're not going to need for the numbers, but the more you know about the property, the more it'll help you to just at least assess it compared to other properties on the market. So this tells me it's the estimated value from CoreLogic, which any type of estimated value, whether or not it's a Zestimate or CoreLogic or Trulia or whatever you use, whatever algorithm you try to use, you're never going to find an algorithm that can get you exactly what the property is going to be worth because everything is hypothetical. So nobody knows what a property is worth until the property sells, and that's what it's worth. And so it's all just hypothetical. You're trying to guess as much as possible on what you think the house will sell and getting as tight as possible on the numbers. And when you use any type of algorithm or computerized thing, they can't keep up with the market, and they can't make adjustments enough that a human being will be able to do that we're about to go through we can be able to get a tight grasp on what you think happened property. So I hope that makes sense with folks. Also, we see that the last time it was listed on MLS, it was listed for $35,000 and it sold for $23,000 in 2013. We see that it was expired other 2 times where it tried to sell. And we also see that it was a mortgage on the property for a few times. And we see that it was listed for foreclosure in 2010. So yeah, that's just some basic information of the property. Sometimes I'll add that into MLS. I'll add that into Podio. If I need some extra information about the house, I'll add that into Podio. But right now, for the purpose of running the numbers, we're going to go straight to, I'm going to use what I call the offers app. And I have this available online for free right now. I'll show you guys how to get that at the end of this. But I'll actually give you the whole entire copy of what I'm going to use right now to be able to run numbers on. I'll get this whole tool, this whole app to you for free. So in this app, this basically helps me to keep track of everything as far as running numbers, and it also helps me to get a big picture on what the market looks like and where this home compares at on the market compared to the other homes. And so they'll be using this app to run the numbers on. And if you go to the realestatewealthexchange.com, you'll be able to get the Deal Evaluator Pro, as well as it's called the Max Offer Assistant for this offers app here. All right, guys, so let's get started on running the numbers. I'm gonna go straight to MLS. I'm gonna go to a residential search. This home is a detached home. We're gonna click off of all of these and go straight to sold within the last 180 days. We'll take the address of the property, which that's not it. Get the address of the property, put that into map grid search. So all MLSs are different, but they're still really similar. So depending on the one that you have access to, it's going to be similar. But we're going to do a map search on here. We're going to start off as close to the property as possible. So I'm going to start off with 0.25 miles, which is as close as it's going to allow us to do a grid around. And so we found 2 properties within the last 180 days within 0.2 miles of this property have sold. And that's that's pretty good because it's really close, and it kind of shows activity here. So let's see what these houses look like. And also another thing that I do is I like to go back and see if the house is actually located in a subdivision, because the houses that are in the same subdivision, and I'm in Georgia right now, so if you're in somewhere that don't have subdivisions, it's basically houses that are subdivided into certain area lots, and they all kind of look the same, was built around the same year most of the time, having similar layouts. So those are the houses that's probably as close to this house as possible, because what we're trying to do is evaluate if other homes look like this house and sold recently for a certain price, then this home probably is going to sell for around what those homes sold for, because that's what buyers are looking to buy it for, right? So this house is actually in a subdivision. So generally what I do is before I even search here, I'll go try to see if it's in something in the same subdivision, which neither of these homes are in the subdivision, the same one, Oak Hill Heights, or maybe Oak Park is maybe similar that was listed wrong in there. But usually I'll go back, just go back just to show you guys. I'll clear the map. Usually I go where it says here subdivision, and I'll put the subdivision in, and then I'll try to see if anything in this subdivision sold within the last 180 days, which nothing popped up. So we're gonna assume that nothing sold in that subdivision, in that exact subdivision, which is cool. So now let's just go back into the map search, get the property address again, and put that back into the map search. And go back to those 2 houses, and let's take a look at what they look at in the inside here. So this is a similar shaped property. If you look at the property here that we have, scroll down to the bottom. So if you look at this, a ranch style house, it has a driveway, doesn't have any garage. This house that we're looking at here, it's a ranch style home, has a driveway, no garage, so that's pretty cool. It's a 3 1.5. Our subject property is a 3-2, I believe. Is what it is. Let's check the tax records. Yeah, tax record said 3-2. Then we can go down to the tax records and see exactly the same. Pool baths, stories, total room, total bedrooms 3. Total baths is actually 1, but then MLS has it listed as 2. So maybe it was an upgrade. It says total baths is 1. Somebody might have added an extra bathroom to the home, and that can be an addition that maybe just wasn't permitted or not on the tax records. But it looks like it used to be 1 bathroom, and tax records had it at, and now MLS had it at 2. So somebody must have added a bathroom to this property. So this 1.5 is still probably pretty comparable to the property that we have. Let me see. You can go and look at the year of the property, 1972. So this house is a little bit newer than our subject property is by less than 20 years. And then also we're gonna go down and look at the square footage. It's 1125. Our property was under 1,000 slightly, so it's a little bit bigger than our subject property. So those are things that we would want to keep in mind, but I still think this property is pretty comparable. It was bought on FHA, so that means it's a retail property. And a retail property is basically something that, a retail sale basically is what we're trying to find the value of the property. When we're trying to find the actual value of the property, we want to try to find retail sales, meaning that people that bought it with a bank loan or they bought it at the height of what the property is worth. And we're taking those properties where people bought those, and we're using those as retail comps so that we can find the ARV, which is the after repair value. So if you don't understand a lot of this stuff, like I say, you kind of go to our website at therealestatewealthexchange.com. We go through in detail on what a lot of this stuff means, so you can get the lingo, and then also you can understand exactly what we're saying here. So anyway, this is an FHA property. So somebody bought it with an FHA loan. So it tells me it's a retail sale. And so when I look at my offers app here, I have all of my comps broken down into different categories. And so my category for retail comps is right here. Got low comps, mid comps, retail comps, rent comps, active comps. I go into detail about what all of those things mean and why we need them and why we break them down into categories. I'm not going to go into detail about that right now, but I'm going to just take this property, I'm going to add it to its appropriate space. So that way we know later on, once we got all our stuff filled in, we'll know the value of this property and exactly what it is. So I'll add in the address. I'll add in that it's a 1.5. I'll add in the year. The square footage was what was it, 1125. And all of this information I put in here because I like to not have to go back. Like I get a general sense of the comp when I can just go straight to my offers app and see what the comps were. I don't have to go all the way log back into MLS and find the property and things like that. So square footage, then I go and I look at the sales price and what the property was sold for. It was sold for $58,000. It sold November 7th, so I put that in there. And I put on the days on market. That usually tells me how long these properties are sitting on the market for. So it's 61 days and it's sold for FHA. So it sat on the market for 61 and it's sold FHA. And then I like to put the MLS number in there just so if I do have to go back to the property, I won't have to do this whole search over again. So that's all the information that I added to each of the columns for each of the comps that I find for the property. And then I do the math after I find the actual comps. All right. Let's go to the next property. All right, so this one is boarded. Oh, is it boarded up? It's boarded up, but it looks, that bathroom looks pretty good. I guess it's like a ranch style, still 1 level. Oh, it has 2 detached car garages though. That's pretty awesome. The inside doesn't look too bad. I thought when it was boarded up, it was going to be a bad property, but it's actually renovated. And again, I don't have no clue with the property that we're running numbers on. I don't have no clue what this property looks like in the inside. I don't know. I'll go into it tomorrow. So this is really just rough numbers until I can get a look at the inside of the property. But I know here this property is fully renovated, but it just has it boarded up right now. They must have just renovated. Let me look again at this property. I don't know if I looked at the pictures all the way. Okay, there. This is nice. It's updated. Okay, so this is really top of the line. As far as how expensive they can get with as far as selling that property. This one's sold at the top, so that would be updated. I can put any little notes that I have in there to help me to justify this property compared to another property. All right, so let's go back to the previous property. This one is a 2-1. So smaller than it has less bedrooms and bathrooms than our subject property. Doesn't have a square footage here, but I can just easily look it up and find that out. It was built in 1960, so it's around the same year as our subject property. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. They have it listed as a 1, but it says 2. I would still use it as a comp. It's still pretty comparable. This was another FHA. Somebody bought it on FHA, so it's a retail comp. So take that address. Let's take a look and use it. Oh, let's copy that over there. 2-1, 1960. I don't know the square footage. I'm not going to look it up right now because I know it's pretty close just by looking at it. It's sold for $63,000. Sold in September. Days on market was 185 days on the market. FHA lowest number. All right, cool. So we got 2 comps already. Let's go back to my criteria. I'm gonna spread this out a little bit further. I'm gonna go 0.5 miles out. Let's see what we find. Whoa, 10 houses. So this is a pretty high area. That's what that tells me immediately. In which Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, it usually is. Atlanta's big, has a lot of cities outside of it, but for it to have 10 properties within a 0.5 miles of property is pretty hot area. But we're going to see, when I say hot, it has a lot of hot sales, but we don't know what type of sales is happening. So they had a few retail sales. It didn't look like any major flip happened with those retail sales. So, yeah, that's great. It's somewhere to definitely buy. This property isn't renovated. And so it's different than the other ones that we bought. So I'm pretty sure it's not a retail sale. It's not renovated. Sold for cash for $22,000. Days on market 5 days. That was quick. Yeah, definitely a hot area. Okay, so let's use this one. We see that it's a cash sale. That shows us it's probably pretty much an investor sale. We can go check on that. If you look at the tax records of this actual address, you'll see that the investor doesn't live at the house, or the person doesn't live at the house. You know it's an investor. Looking at the condition of the property, I would say it's on the low end side, but it can be a low or mid comp. Not exactly sure yet until I look at some of the other comps. And we have 8 more to go through, so we'll be able to tell once we have this thing filled up. So it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. So we'll keep that in mind, that it's smaller than our subject property. Built in 1954, so it's around the same year as our subject property. Square foot is 888, so it's around the same square footage as our subject property. So close enough for us to use as a comp for right now. So we find other ones that can boot it out of there that's better. Sold for 22,000. Days on market 5. Cash. No, that's number. And this one is distressed. So this one I updated like the other ones. I like to keep it uniform. All right. Go to the next one. It's another ranch style home, 1 level. Has a carport. Also needs a little bit of work. THC. Some TLC. Whoa, that kitchen. That needs some work. Whew. This is definitely on the low end. That kitchen itself going to be about 5 to 10, probably like 7. All right. So it's a 3-1, built in 1962. It's close. Square footage is 999. Close, definitely. It sold for cash for 35,000. I'm going to put that with the low end properties. Let's put that there for now. See if we need to move it down to a mid property, we will do that later. Let's say 1960. Square feet. Okay, 62. So for 35,000 in 44 days. All this is totally necessary. Like as far as me going over all of this stuff and being very accurate with the numbers, when it comes down to me reselling the property, when it comes down to me, being able to even give offers to sellers, I'm usually pretty darn solid on what I think the house will sell for, what I think I can offer the seller. Where a lot of people come in there and they won't really know for sure, you can kind of tell, or they can't really go forward and sell the property the way they need to, and they have to adjust it or have it sit on the market, all that extra stuff. When I know for sure, and I'm very accurate with the numbers, I can usually, sell quick, and I can also go in with the seller and more confident that I can execute with the numbers. So let's go check out the next property. It's that one we saw before. This is one we saw before. 1950. Some ranch styles. Looks a little different, but updated. Somebody put some nice paneling on there. It doesn't have a driveway. But maybe it has some off-street parking. Or maybe that's a driveway right here. Yeah, it looks like a little side driveway right there. It's a 3-1, 1950. 1095 square feet, slightly bigger than our subject property. It's sold FHA. Another retail sale. It's nice though. People are really flipping in this area. Like they're doing some really nice flips. I would buy a property here to flip, quickly, because you don't have to do really extravagant renovations, like first time home buyer type renovations, and the properties are really cheap. Let's see, what did this sell for? Sold for 98,000. So that's pretty good if you think about it, guys. Like when you think about it from a cash buyer point of view, if we were trying to sell this house, if I was trying to wholesale it to a cash buyer, or if I was trying to fix and flip it myself, if I'm buying a property on the low end at 22,000, 35,000, and I can put some work into it, maybe about 10, 20,000, and then I can turn around and I can go retail this property for $98,000. Sounds like a pretty good profit spread. I don't know about y'all, but I would do it any day in this neighborhood. This is in a what, 30354 zip code in Atlanta. So anyway, back to this. Let's go back to running these numbers on it. Put that back in our retail. It's a pretty big jump from the other properties. These were 63,000 and 58,000, but then this was a 2-bedroom. This one was 1.5. Still was around the same size. I mean, we can also, it can be anything that we don't know about the property that we can't see offhand of why this one sold for much more higher than these two did. It can be that it's a little bit further out. It's in a total different subdivision, and the subdivision that this one is in, people hold higher. They feel like it's a better area than the other subdivision that's right next door to it. Or this house it looks really manicured, like they took the time to actually take the outside and repanel the whole outside. So this looks a little bit more manicured. It could be another reason why buyers took this as it's worth more than the other properties that sold for less. We trying to figure out what the buyer is thinking at the end of the day. What's the buyer thinking? So if I was going to fix and flip this property and I want to sell it for around $98,000, I know I'm gonna have to do some side paneling and make sure the outside is nice and sparkling. I'm not gonna just be like the other properties and not do anything with the outside when I know that the property that did sell higher, you had to put a little bit more details into it to get to the higher price margin. So this one is a 3-1, 1950, 1095 square feet. So it's still a little bit bigger than our subject property, but it has less bathroom than our subject property does. So it's still pretty good comparable. It sold in August, 14 days on the market, $98,000 FHA. Okay, the MLS number for this. All right, so here's another retail comp. Let's go to the next one. This one is 2 levels, not really similar to our subject property. This one is a ranch 1 level, says sexy renovation. Let's check out the sexiness of the renovation. That is pretty sexy. That's definitely pretty sexy. If you see, they made that layout a little bit more open. They opened up the layout. They took out that wall. They got some nice furniture in there for the staging. Marble countertops. They did the, around the ceiling, trim around there. All of those things are like, they did an excellent job on this one. How much did they sell this for? This is some high-end stuff. Stainless steel. I know they put a lot of money into it, but compared to the other properties that we just saw, I mean, let's see if it came off and it was worth it. It did a nice job with the fireplace there. Didn't really do too much. Didn't have to do too much in the bedrooms. Bathrooms had some nice tiling, nice fixtures. Yeah. Tray ceilings in the bedroom. They definitely. I was wondering when they said sexy renovations. I wasn't sure. I was like, well, you're just saying that, but they definitely they deserve that one. Okay, it sold for $129,000. So that tells us what? If you put more money into the property, you get more money at the end of the day. You do a quick flip, you can always do that, but you'll have to sell it at the lower end on a 5863 if you're doing a quick flip to put a little bit of money into the property. Put a lot of money into the property, you can get the 100,000 plus area for this neighborhood. So this neighborhood is really flexible. It's a really flexible investing neighborhood, really, when you look at it. It's sold FHA. So that would mean it's going to knock out one of our other properties here. I'll just add this one up here for now. And then I'm going to add this one in its place because it's higher. Oh, it's 3-2, 1956, around the same year as our subject property. And the square footage is 1274, so it's bigger in our subject property, but it seems like the way they made use of the space, they kind of definitely did with this one. So, but we do have to keep that in mind as far as adjusting them. When I do the numbers and the value of it, I'll have to take that down a little bit because this property is, way over our subject property where probably wouldn't even use it um, as a comparable almost because it's so much bigger. So I didn't notice that part. So let's continue on. Let's see if we need to use that one since it's over a certain percentage of the square footage that I like to stay at. What's this, about 300? What's this one? 996. So that's 1, 2, 3, over 300 square feet more. So I'm not going to use that one, but it's a very nice renovation though. This one is it's a one level, sits up kind of high. It's a 3-1 1992, so it's newer than our subject property, much newer. Sold for 49,000. Says other, so we don't really know what type of deal it was, and it's only one picture. Let's see what else we got. This one built in 1945. It's a 3-1. It's not in bad shape. Just needs some cosmetics. Let me see. The bathroom could use a little bit of updating, but it just really needs a lot of cosmetic work done to it. Sold for 52,000. It's sold for cash, probably to an investor. Square feet is 1378, so it's like a lot larger than our subject property. Next one is a 3-1 1950. Square feet is 1131. It's kind of close enough. Let's check it out the inside. It's like I feel like it has another level. It's like a split level. Oh, let me see. 57,000 in 19 days. That's pretty quick. Somebody got a conventional loan. It probably was still an investor that just got a conventional loan. Or we can just check it out. Let's see if the person actually lives at the property. Since this one is not exactly, I'm not exactly sure whether or not an investor bought this one or not, since it was a conventional loan. It's a bank-owned sale. So the bank owned this property. Even though it's the same address, the same billing address, you can see it's an LLC. So it's obviously an investor sale with this one. So let's go back. Let's add this one to our investor sales. The condition wasn't too bad, so it definitely was a mid-comp. There's a 3-1 square foot was what, 1030, 232? 1950, I think. 1950, 1131. Sold in September, 57,000, conventional, 19 days. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, that's it for that. And we still have some boxes that need to be filled out exactly. So what I'll do is go out a little bit more, a mile. Sometimes I don't like to go out to a mile. We got 36 full properties within a mile. All right, let's check it out. Let's pick through and see if we can find another one that's comparable. One just has one photo, but it's a 3-1 Nothing listed. Who listed? Really nothing. 900 square feet, 3-1, built in 1960. Is actually similar to our property. Just they didn't have that much information for us to go on. All right, let's add this one in there. As a what it sell for? 24,000. Sounds like a low comp. Add this one into our low comp area. Sold in August. Sold for 24,000. 82 days on market. Take cash. Yep. 82 days on market. That's the number. All right. Let's see if we can get some more of these boxes filled out. It's a 3-1, 1959. Square feet, 1960s. So similar to what we have. So for other, sounds like an investment sale. Let's check out the pictures still. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad. It's probably still moving ready. Let me see. Let's go to the tax records and check out. See if it's an owner that lives there or it's an absentee owner, an investor. It's a trust with a different address in Florida. It's an investor sale. Sold for 24.9. So this property is actually closer than that property is. So I'm gonna keep that up there for now. But the condition of the property, what did he say? It wasn't that bad. So it really was a mid comp. It's gonna lower our mid comp a little bit because most of these properties are at 58. It's on the market for 62 days. So I'm thinking we're gonna add it to our mid comp category because it is pretty comparable when I look at the house and compare it to what our house looks like and the size and everything. Let's add that in here to fill this box up. 1959, 3-1. $960 square feet. $24.9, 62 days. Eight. So it looks like we have most of our boxes filled out. We'll have all the retail boxes filled out. Let's see if we can find another good retail property to get that one filled out. Other. We can use this one, right? No, we can make it some work. Cash sale. 2 2 2 2 3 1 3 2 3 2 1 1946 3 2. It's actually a couple. It has another level to it. And that's your own tenant occupied. That's not a retail. 2 1. Where's it built? 1940. 1482 square feet. It's definitely much bigger than ours. Wow, that's nice. 3 2 1930. It's like a little. What square feet is that? So it's 10,008 square feet. It looks small from that angle. It's just renovated. Conventional loan sold for $144,000. Yeah, another nice renovation. Nice staging. $47 days on market. It went pretty fast too. It doesn't have the same appeal or layout as our subject property does, but the renovations on it is like really nice. So it's a 4-2. But if you play around with something like if you was a flipper and you added an extra bedroom or did a lot to the outside of the house to change some things, like you can really sell the property for a lot more in this neighborhood. So yeah, guys, those are like the posters that we found for this property right now. And I think most of our boxes are pretty filled up, which, like I said, tells me it's a hot area. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to do, since this is a lease option property and not a regular wholesale, I'm going to go and do an extra step here. And I'm going to do the rent comps. But sometimes I'll do the rent comps still if it's a wholesale. If I'm going to wholesale it to a buy and hold investor, I'll still do the rent comps. So we'll go to lease to see if it's anything that's been leased on MLS here. And this is, it looks like it's an attached unit. Go back to criteria. We need some detached houses. Okay, yeah, it's similar. Well, we rented for $725. See what it looks like. It's not bad either. And again, we still don't have any clue on what this subject property looks like to even compare. So I'm still use this as a comp for the rental. We're renting in 12 days, $725 to 3-1. These rental listings don't have a square foot on there, but that's pretty close for right now. Don't have to be exact with the rental comps, but it does make a difference, of course, if there's way more. 3-1 rental for $725. Asian market 12. And let's stretch it out a little further. Put a 0.5. Nothing. Let's go out a mile. A couple more popped up. It's a 3-1, another ranch style, built in 1953. Check it out. That's pretty good. All right, let's add that in there. Rent it out for $850, I believe. Nope, $850 for this one. That seems more like for a renovated property in this area. It seems more about right. If the house not too renovated, it's like, it's okay. Then yeah, you have to go down with the rent a little bit, but I think that sounds more about right. 6 days on market, pretty, so you can rent out stuff pretty fast too. In this area. Alright, let's check out one more comp. This one looks like it has an upper and a lower level and an extra bedroom. It's a 2-1. Doesn't have many pictures though. 1950 though, so for rent for $850. Yeah, we could use this one here. I rented in 12 days. Like nothing stays on the market long in this neighborhood. All right, dang. And I'll do the active comps too. Usually I go in there with the active comps to figure out I'm going to list the property, what I would list it at, or also if I'm competing with agents in the deal and I'm an investor, and I like to know what I think the agents would be able to list the property at, and whether or not the agent is just blowing smoke up the sellers, just blowing smoke up basically their butt and just telling them I can get you this amount when really the agent can't get, probably not gonna be able to get them that amount. So sometimes out to the active comps is you want to have everything filled out as much as possible if you are doing this app. Then we'll go through and we'll do some of the averages on what we think this thing is sell for. So first, let's start off with the low comps. We got 22,000. That's 22,000. That's 35,000. Divided by 3. Okay, we got 26,333. And if I go back through, it's a 2-1. And then put the bedrooms in these two. I think as far as adjusting, that number is about right for 26,000. So I'll put that here, and that's more like a max offer for the seller. These low comps are. So if I'm trying to get it on contract from a seller, and I know that the property isn't in good condition, it's similar to these distressed properties, then I'm going to want to get the property around this amount if I know it's distressed like these properties are. If the property isn't as distressed as these properties, say they look more like the mid comps, I still want to try to get the number as close as I can to this one, but I can go up to as far as like a percentage of the mid comps. So we're not going to really go into how to submit offers and how to actually make the offer up in this video. It's more so just how to run numbers and how to get comps accurately, which is definitely a problem in the industry as a whole, is having accurate values on properties. This one we got at 46.6. And as far as the retail comps, this gives us kind of like the ARV of the property. This is a 2-1 and this is a 3-1. This is a little bit slightly bigger than our property. This one doesn't tell us. So if I was to do a quick adjustment, because this one has less bedrooms for the 63, this one kind of has a less one less bathroom, I would do a slight adjustment and probably say this one compared to our subject property probably would have our subject property probably would have sold for maybe about a few thousand more, maybe 3 to 5 thousand more. So let's just adjust it at like 66,000, around that amount. You know, if we say the value of it, that somebody would say, let's all right, let's do five. Let's do 68,000. So we'll adjust it at 68,000 since it's a little bit smaller than ours, and we'll do that 98,000. Keep that there since the bathroom isn't as important. We have a value of about $83,000 on the safe side. So if I was to flip this property, I would try to adjust my numbers where I think I'm probably not going to sell it for anything above 83,000. I'll try to sell it for more, of course, but when I do my numbers, I'm gonna use 83,000 as my ARV or my after repair value. For the rent, just looking at it, I would try to rent this property for 850, no more than that. I mean, no less than that. So without doing the average, just from me knowing the market and seeing that two houses sold for 850, this one was 725. So depending on the condition of the property, again, if it's a nicely renovated property, move-in ready, you can get 850 easy. If the property needs some work done to it, it's kind of shitty, we're gonna have to go down on the rent a little bit. But I'm gonna judge about 850 for our property. That'll be about the average amount. That'll be about market rent for our property. So again, I'm not going to go into too much details about actually putting in the offer, but just to give you a roundabout of what it would be like on the lease option, because the market rent is about 850, I would try to get a little bit more, like around 900, depending on the condition of the property. If it's an excellent condition, I try to get 950. If it's a so-so condition, I get about 900. I go up a little bit on the lease options. I can go over market rent slightly, basically. And because the value of the house, the after repair value is 83,000. If the house is in great, perfect condition, when I get there tomorrow, I can sell it on a lease option for probably 10,000 more at about 93,000, and offer the seller 83. Tell him I'll get him what the house is worth, and I can take my 10 off top on the lease option when the tenant buyer sells it. If this was a wholesale deal, like I said, I'll be trying to get the price around this amount or this amount, depending on the condition, or not this amount, basically. This amount or a little bit higher if it's in good condition. And then I can go and resell the property to another investor for around this amount. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I know it's a lot of information. We went through a lot. I don't even know how long that took. It takes longer when I'm explaining it to you. But again, just go to the realestatewealthexchange.com. Got a few different products out there. Got some coaching courses on video. And I also have a personal mentorship coaching program, which is working. Like really. People that go through the 7-day course that I have, honestly, you can go from zero, not knowing any knowledge, to by the time you've done your first week, definitely make it happen. Like I just had a student, don't know any real estate knowledge, and just booked this first appointment today on day 3. So, definitely real proud of that real quick. And yeah, guys, thanks for spending the time with me. Hope that at least shows you a little bit on how you run numbers on MLS. You can run numbers off of MLS, like I said. It's all types of ways you can do it. Show you how to do that if you want. Just go to the website, therealestatewealthexchange.com. See you guys later. I'm gonna try to come back on tomorrow when I go to that property. I'm gonna go to the property. I'm gonna do a little video so you can actually see the inside of the property that we just ran numbers to. And I'm gonna try to remember that and try to be more active on here on YouTube. Put a comment below, subscribe. If you want me to be more active and do more of this type stuff, let me know. I'll do more of it. If not, then I'll just be working, But all right, y'all. Love you, family. Peace.